Welcome to Balanced Life Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Angela Clark. Life is a crazy, wonderful adventure, and it can pull you in every direction, sometimes all at once. Can you really achieve success in one area of life without losing it all everywhere else? Can it really be done? Are you up for a good challenge? Well, let's get started. Hey, this is Angela, and oh my gosh, this is episode 13, and yes, it's been like 2 months since episode 12. I do apologize. It's just one of those things. Life got crazy, business is booming, and I just haven't taken the time to sit down and actually, I kind of left y'all hanging. We were talking about the 5 love languages, and we talked about the first one in our last episode, words of affirmation, and then I just ran out on you. So, I want to take this episode right here, and instead of doing each love language per episode, I'm going to go ahead and just finish up this book because, like I said, business has been booming and it's growing like crazy and it's exciting, but there's so much that I want to talk about, and there's so much business growth that I can share with you, and I'm excited to be sharing with you. But I feel like we have to finish what we've started first. And I started on this book. So instead of taking the next 4 weeks to cover the last 4 love languages, I'm going to take this episode, no matter how long it is, and we are going to dive in and finish these 5 love languages because these are the basic building blocks of building your business. I chose this book because we seek balance in business and in life. What's the point of building a business if our whole entire personal life falls apart? What's the point of building a business if we don't have great relationships with our children, with our spouse, with our employees or our coworkers or all the people in our lives? This book is not just for building relationships with your spouse. I know that's why it was written. But take the knowledge that you learn from this book and apply it to every relationship in your life. This book has been vital for me as an employer in working with my employees. This book has been vital to me as a business owner in working with clients. So it's not just your spouse. It's not just your boyfriend or girlfriend or that important person in your life. It's every relationship that you have. And hopefully, this helps you to achieve that balance in life. Balance is a struggle. Balance is a struggle for everyone. No one out there no one out there, in my mind anyway, should ever claim to have obtained perfect balance in life. There's always things that get in the way, things that, for a time, take you away from those other things that you want or need. But that's part of life. That's part of the struggle. And we can't obtain the balance if we don't have a desire to obtain it. And this book, again, is just a tool to help you in your quest for obtaining that balance. So let's dive into some of the other love languages. So love language 1 was words of affirmation, and we covered that in the last episode. If you haven't heard that, pause this one, jump back, listen to now I'm getting all tongue-tied. Listen to the last episode, and then come back to this one. But number 2 in the love languages is quality time. Now, I tend to be a workaholic. I will put my head down and barrel on through. But that really leaves me out of balance with the people in my life that mean the most to me. So I think this one is an obvious one. Really take time out for those important people in your life. They need your quality time. And if you're a workhorse like me, you may not realize it, but you need quality time with them as much as they need it with you. Now, how do you know if this is your spouse's love language? Well, usually we tend to speak the language that we want to receive. So, if your spouse or your special someone is trying to reach out, trying to get time with you, that's their love language. They may not even realize it, but how they're speaking to you is their language. So I would think that someone whose love language is quality time, really, if you surprise them with dinner out or surprise them with a day that just the two of you together, that is going to speak loads to them. And that's what this is about. This is about not discovering your language as much as learning how to discover others' language so you can really speak to them in their language. So, how does this apply at work or in business? Well, how about taking some time to just take some of your employees out for lunch? Man, that can be huge. Or in the middle of your day, when they know you're busy and you've got a million things going on, how about taking 2 minutes to really ask them about their day? Ask them about their work situation. Hey, are there any tools that you need that you need me to update that will make your work schedule easier? Is there anything that you need? Is there anything that I can do for you? That goes a long way, and it only takes a couple of minutes, but it really, if you allow them time to talk to you and share, they might share something about their personal life, they might share something about work. It's whatever they're comfortable with, but if you're quiet, you ask a couple of questions and let them really talk. That's quality time at work. Try it. Trust me, it makes a huge difference. All right, so number 3 is receiving gifts. Gifts aren't really my thing. I think personally that quality time is huge for me. The words of affirmation is huge for me. So that one I don't even realize until I get it. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I really needed that. But receiving gifts. If somebody is constantly giving you little gifts, or you see that they love to give out gifts, have you ever met that woman that never forgets people's birthdays, or she's always handing out little thank you cards or sending notes? Oh my gosh, that is the most amazing thing to me because I don't even think to do that for somebody ever. It never occurs to me to send somebody just a random little note telling them thank you for being you. But I know people like that. That's definitely a gift, and they love to do it. But I bet you $100 that is their love language. Their love language is receiving gifts. Because again, we speak our own language. So, in your personal life, with your personal relationships, receiving gifts, that love language, heck, give the people you love gifts. It doesn't need to be huge things. A lot of people that like gifts, the tiny little personal things, make all the difference. I'm not telling you to go spend $1 million. I'm not telling you to spend $50. I'm not giving you a dollar amount at all. Gifts could be something you make. Gifts could be a note. Gifts are for people that are really sentimental. And a lot of times, gifts do not have a dollar amount. Gifts are special things that you realize mean something to the person. sending them that little note and thanking them for something that nobody else may have thanked them for is a big deal. Seeing something cheap in the store that would mean nothing to anybody else but reminds you of them, that is huge for someone who receiving gifts is one of their love languages. Now, how about professionals? This can be touchy, right? You don't want to go around giving things to coworkers that might be inappropriate, or you don't, if it's your employees, I can't just go around giving stuff out all the time. Or can I? Of course you can. How about creating contests? Those people that receiving gifts is their love language, they will compete in contests to get that gift because that's their love language. Just get creative with it. Again, receiving gifts does not have to be big. Oh, it can be. You want to give away a weekend vacation to an employee? They're all going to love you for that. I'm just telling you, it doesn't have to be big. Receiving gifts is about heartfelt things. It's about knowing the people you work with, work for, the people that work for you. It's about knowing the people in your life. It's about taking time to recognize what matters to them, what's important to them, and then acting on that, showing them in little ways that you hear them, that you understand them. That's what it's all about. All right, acts of service. That's number 4. Acts of service is, again, just like the receiving gifts, it's about knowing the people that you're around. It's about getting out of your own head and your own thoughts and your own needs and desires enough that we get to know the people around us. Acts of service can be, of course, huge. The huge ones are, easy to picture. But the important ones, to me, acts of service is those things that you do for somebody without expecting any kind of thank you. Acts of service may be cleaning up after someone. Acts of service may be helping someone clean up when they've made a mess and you don't even think about it. You just do it, and you don't expect anything in return. You definitely don't tell other people that you did that act of service. That would defeat the whole point. Acts of service are just that. They're meant to serve people. Now, we all know that person in the office or that person in the family that is the one that everybody goes to when they need something. This person can be easily taken advantage of. So if this is your love language, maybe you need to watch out for that. Don't let people take advantage of you. And that's just a little side note. But if you see that person, and that person's easy to identify, that person that is always helping other people, that person that they enjoy it most of the time, unless they're being taken advantage of, they reach out. They'll be the ones to ask someone, how can I help you? Or they'll be the ones to see somebody struggling and run over and eagerly help that person out. That's their love language. You know who those people are. Like I said, it's easy to identify those people. So if you can identify those people, you know that's their love language. Then look for opportunities to serve them. That's at work. What about at home? How can you serve the people that you live with, that you love? It's not just about doing the dishes or cooking and cleaning. Serving might be you see they're working on a project and you ask how you can help with that. Or you see they're working on a project and you offer to take the kids to practice so they can keep working on their project. It was maybe not your turn to take the kids. Maybe it was their turn. But that is an act of service. Serving someone else's needs, putting their needs in front of yours. That's service. You apply that how you see fit in your life, but trust me, these are important. And eventually, in the beginning, you're going through them in your head, and it doesn't flow easily. But the more you do it, it becomes second nature. And you'll automatically, without even thinking about it, you'll recognize the love languages, you'll recognize the acts in other people. And then you just learn. It's second nature that you speak to them in their language. The last one is physical touch. With the people that you love, that you live with, that are in your personal space. Physical touch is, no big deal. Make sure, especially maybe it's your children. I mean, with my spouse, I always have my hands on him. I can't keep my hands off of him. maybe that's my love language. But for your children, make sure you're putting your hands on their shoulder. Make sure you're grabbing their hand when you talk to them. It's not uncommon that as they grow up, you don't necessarily have that physical contact anymore. And that's really important. They say that one of the major causes of depression for the elderly is that they get no physical touch. I can tell you, as a salon owner, when I do a manicure on somebody, I'm holding their hand for 45 minutes to an hour. I have one of their hands in my hand, and it is completely different than when I do somebody's hair. And I've always thought it's got to be the fact that I am physically touching them. Somebody that's getting a manicure, they talk and they talk and they talk, and they tell me all kinds of things. And I've always laughed about it, but it's true. And the most loyal clients are my manicure clients, because I spend an hour holding their hand and talking to them. I've already gone into nursing homes and done their hair over the years, and it's quite the experience. When you go in, knowing in the back of your mind that these people lack physical touch. I mean, just imagine having nobody in your life that lovingly touches you, that lays a friendly hand on your shoulder. It, it would be devastating. And those times that I've gone into the nursing homes and done people's hair for them, those beautiful ladies are just, it's amazing to see the light that comes on in their eyes. When you lay your hand on their shoulder, when you smile at them and talk to them, and they can feel that friendly touch on their shoulder. It's nothing inappropriate. I know in today's society, we've got to be aware of our lines. And I am not by any means talking about anything inappropriate. That's devastating that anyone could think that I'm talking about anything inappropriate. I'm just talking about that last love language of physical touch. It doesn't have to be inappropriate in any way. But there are those who need that touch. Now, let's move away from the personal relationships and move into the office relationships, the professional relationships, because that's where this love language is almost impossible to fulfill. I do find that with female employees, I have to say that as a female, if I have a male employee that I think that this is their love language, they're on their own. There's got to be other people in their lives that would fulfill that love language. That is not my need to fulfill that. And you know that. You know how to behave professionally in the workplace. But if I have female employees or coworkers, friends, I don't have an issue just reaching out and touching their hand while I am looking them in the eye and talking to them if I think they need it. Sometimes people need me to reach out and put my hand on their shoulder just so they know they have my attention. So, again, this is all about knowing somebody else's love language. I hope this has been helpful to you. This podcast went a little bit longer than what we usually go, but we had to cover a ton of different topics today. So I just wanted to touch base a little bit on each of them, and so that we can kind of put this book on the shelf for now. In your own personal time, I can't tell you enough how important it is that you read and study this book. You're going to love it. And it's going to be a book that you will use for the rest of your life. I promise you. Dive into this book. Get the audiobook. Whatever you need to get through. I know reading a book sometimes isn't always the best solution, even for me. I get busy and I lay a book down and I might not come back to it for 3 months. But an audiobook, you can listen to in the car. You can listen to while you're doing the dishes or folding the laundry. You can listen to it while you're mowing the yard. Whatever you're doing, you can pop an earbud in there and finish that audiobook. So I encourage you, take some time to finish this one. You won't regret it. You'll use this for the rest of your life. So I did this because I really am excited about kind of pivoting the podcast. I've been asked to teach a class on business systems and accountability, and I'm really enjoying that. And I've started doing some YouTube videos that are based on the same kind of concept. And I thought the podcast is almost going in that direction. You know, I've made it clear from the very beginning that this podcast has been about business growth, personal growth, and balancing all that out. So I'm still going to do that, but I think I'm going to pivot away from studying specific books and maybe talk more about specific aspects of building a business. I've been a business owner and entrepreneur my entire adult life. I have started and grown several successful to this day businesses, from nonprofits to very profitable businesses. And I'm proud of those accomplishments, but I also recognize where I come from and the business systems that I learned that were my key to success. So I want to start sharing those with you, and let's see where that takes us. So stay tuned. Please like and subscribe to this podcast if you're still here after 25 minutes of this. And the next couple of episodes, I think, are going to get real fun. So stick around and, again, dive into that 5 Love Languages book, finish that up, and then let's dig in. All right, guys, talk to you soon.